Depositions from incompetent and most likely racist Doge employees put in place by Elon Musk are finally being released, and it's insane.
Do you agree with ChatGPT's assessment here that a documentary is DEI if it explores historical events that significantly impacted Black civil rights?
Yes.
These Doge Bros come across as completely idiotic, unqualified Musk errand boys who were given unprecedented power.
You don't regret that people might have lost important income to support their lives?
No, I think it was more important to reduce the federal deficit.
Did you reduce the federal deficit?
No, we didn't.
What's wrong with this nigga? That's your man. That's your man.
Welcome back to my channel, man. I appreciate you guys clicking on this video. We're going to do this reaction to Jew Almighty, the Doge Bros deposition, man. I saw a few clips of this a couple days ago, and to be honest, I was very shocked. I was very, very shocked, but not to the point where I wasn't shocked to the point where it was unbelievable. Right? Because I'm in my 40s and I've been around for a while, so I understand the racial dynamics that our country has always displayed, right? The disparity in the racial dynamics, between black and white, and for the most part, you always will see that in a lot of situations, young white men do not have to prove themselves. They don't receive the positions that they find themselves in solely based off of merit. That is not the case, and that's irrefutable. You know, if you don't believe me, or if you have a counter to that, please leave a comment before we get into this reaction. But this is bad. I'm not gonna lie. I already know where it's headed, but I'm not gonna spoil it. Let's get into it, man. Please hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't. Let's check it out.
This peek behind the curtain through these depositions shows how bad everything actually was with Doge.
How do you interpret DEI? The EO explicitly laid out the details. I don't remember it off the top of my head. It's okay. I'm asking for your understanding of it. Yeah, my understanding was exactly what was written in the EO.
But welcome to the channel. Please like and share the video. Don't forget to sub. Now, let's get into it. This is Justin Fox, a former Doge staffer assigned to the National Endowment for Humanities, who said his job was to review and flag grants for DEI, which would then go to his superiors for termination under Trump's executive order. The Onion News could not write this story.
How do you interpret DEI?
Does he know what DEI stands for?
The EO explicitly laid out the details.
He doesn't even know. These guys asking him a very simple question. What is your understanding of DEI? Not what the EO said. What is your understanding of it? Give me your basic understanding of it. And maybe we could get to the EO a little later, but for now, give me your basic understanding of it.
I don't remember it off the top of my head. It's okay. I'm asking for your understanding of it. Yeah, my understanding was exactly what was written in the EO. Okay, so can you... I don't remember what was in the EO. So right now, do you have an understanding of what DEI is? Yeah. Okay, so what's your understanding as you sit here today in this deposition? Well, it was exactly what was written in the EO.
Bro. Bruh. And look at the arrogance, right? Look at the arrogance in the way, in the body language, the head movement, and the eyes. Pay attention, guys. I want you to pay attention as we go through this reaction. Please pay attention to the smugness, the arrogance, right? Where he's not answering the questions, but he has this just super narcissistic, arrogance, egotistical, just body language to him, where he feels like it's whatever the EO said, bro. Like he said, all right, do you understand what DEI? Yes. Well, give me your understanding of it. It's whatever says in the EO. Well, I'm asking you right now, what do you believe it is? You have a belief or a definition of it for yourself, a personal one outside of the EO, right? Yeah, I know. Well, tell me what it is. Well, it's whatever said was in the what?
And so anytime that we would look at a grant through the lens of complying with an executive order. We would just refer back to the EO and assess if this grant had relation to it. Okay.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion. And how this whole administration perceives it is anything having to do with people of color, including Black History Month, anything having to do with women, anything other than something supporting white Christian men. Basically, people like him, white and unqualified, put in the positions of power just because he looks the way he looks, or he knows somebody, or is known by somebody.
But I guess I'm stepping back from your methodology strictly in terminating the grants. Do you have an understanding, as you sit here today, of what DEI means? Yeah. Okay. So what's your understanding of what it means? Well, it is exactly what was written in the.
Do you have an understanding of what DEI is? Yeah. Okay, well, tell me what's your understanding of it. Well, it was exactly what was written in the EEO. Bruh. What the are we doing? What are we doing? But these are the guys that are put in positions to determine where people, like they have people lives literally in their hands, people livelihoods, their employment in their hands. And they sit up here with a straight face and act as if like, what do you mean? Like, it's whatever they told us, when they handed us the paper, the EEO paper, the order, whatever it is, the executive order, that once we got the executive order and it outlined everything that, DEI is, we just referred to that when we was making our decisions. But if you ask me if I have a personal understanding of what it is, yeah, I do. But when you ask me that, I have to refer to the EO. Nigga, what?
Yeah. Okay, so why is a documentary about...
It's the smugness for me. It's just the incredible entitlement and smugness. As if he's annoyed by having to answer a simple question that he can't even answer.
Holocaust survivors.
Objection.
Explaining what it means.
Well, it is exactly what was written in the EO.
Okay, so why is it...
You know who this is? I'm going to show y'all right now real quick before we continue. This is who this guy is. Let me move this out the way and we're going to get right back to it. That's who this guy is right here. That's who these guys are. If you remember this movie from back in the 80s, American Psycho, this is who these guys are. Look at this picture and let's go back. And look at this guy. Look at him and look at him. Look at him and look at him. It's fucking unbelievable.
About Holocaust survivors, DEI.
Objection.
The grant proposed a documentary about Jewish women's slave labor during the Holocaust.
It's the gender-based story that's inherently discriminatory to focus on this specific group.
How is telling the story about any group without insulting another group discriminatory to anybody? Under those specifications and under who's in power, they're justifying the whitewashing of history. The only white people stories that they choose should be told, which is how we see all the black erasure happening, outlawing a huge number of black books, tearing down black history exhibits, literally whitewashing history, trying to erase slavery and civil rights. This is how we get here.
It's inherently discriminatory to focus on what specific group?
The gender-based, so females in the Holocaust.
And you believe that that's inherently discriminatory?
I'm just saying that's what it's focused on. But
these people are idiots. They're fucking idiots.
But you just used the term inherently discriminatory. What did you mean by that?
It's focusing on DEI principles, gender being one of them.
So a documentary that's about women would be DEI?
Objection.
Is that fair to say?
No.
Okay, so...
What?
Tell me why what I just said isn't DEI, but what you just said is DEI.
Objection.
I'm not laughing because it's funny. Because these people were incredibly destructive to the federal government and people at large. Like, people lost jobs, programs lost funding.
Those no longer exist. Department of Government Efficiency as an actual entity.
And look at this goofy. He's standing up there high out his mind.
within the federal government is no more.
Not no comment, not it's under review, just it does not exist. Yet somehow this non-existent agency got access to government data, claimed $1 billion in efficiencies, and operated behind a curtain. No audit trails, no verification, no public accounting.
All the cuts they were trying to make to federal personnel that have since been reversed by the courts didn't work.
People who they fired, they still had to pay. People that were laid off, they still had to pay.
Things that we were doing with other countries as far as disease, a lot of people were affected and have since passed away because that funding was cut short.
And now
Right. Specifically, USAID, if I'm not mistaken. That was a huge part that was cut out that assisted people all around the world, like gave them aid for like, if they was like, you know, malnutrition children and stuff around the world, third world countries and stuff. That was huge.
people running it just melted into other parts of the government like nothing happened.
It was bad. What Doge did was incredibly harmful to the United States, to the federal government, to the world. But they're just so incredibly stupid. It's confounding how they were put in positions of power that could affect real change in the world. Just being incredibly stupid. But they're white.
Specifically focused on Jewish cultures and amplifying the marginalized voices of the females in that culture.
Amplifying the marginalized voices of people in that culture to them is a DEI issue.
Right, because it's women. If it's women, if it's black people, if it's gays, anybody that's not white and male, even white women was affected by their decisions, because white women are the largest recipients of DEI hires. Just think about that. They don't even give up about their own women. This is like scraping the bottom of the barrel when it comes to like white guys.
Which is why this whole administration hates Black History Month, because it amplifies the achievements and voices of Black people throughout the history of this country.
It's inherently related to DEI for those reasons. Understanding of it. Yeah.
Doge staffer Justin Fox explains what he thinks DEI is at a deposition after testifying about flagging grants he believed were DEI. These fucking privileged brats are morons. They are. Yes, they're hateful, but before they're hateful, they're also stupid.
Facts. And that's my biggest problem. That's my biggest problem. I could disagree with an agency being implemented to do something like this. I could totally disagree all day. But at the bare minimum, at the bare minimum, at least put some people in there who know what they doing. How hard is that? But it's not about, again, hiring qualified people to take on tasks like this. That's not what it's about. It's about hiring the right looking people to do this type of shit, regardless if they're qualified or not. They could be airheads just like these guys. So what? They're white.
Doge Bro just testified that Black history is not for the benefit of humankind.
Do you agree with ChatGPT's assessment?
Black history is not for the benefit of humankind. As if to say that Black people are not humans. Where have we heard that before? Where have we heard that before? 3/5?
Here that is DEI.
Oh, I forgot to mention, he took all of the things that he was responsible for looking up, plugged it into ChatGPT to determine what fit the DEI description that he could then give to his supervisors to terminate.
Bruh.
So you wasn't even doing your job. You relied on chat.
Do you agree with ChatGPT's assessment here that a documentary is DEI if it explores historical events that significantly impacted Black civil rights?
Yes.
Okay. Why would that be DEI?
It's focused on a singular race. It is not for the benefit of humankind. It is focused on a specific group of.
It's not for the benefit of humankind because it focuses on a specific group. As if to say that group of people are not humans. Yo, we gotta.
What's wrong with this nigga? That's your man. That's your man.
Or a specific race, here being black.
Why would learning about anti-black violence not be to the benefit of humankind?
Objection.
That's not what I'm saying.
Okay, then what are you saying?
I'm saying it relates to diversity, equity, and inclusion.
You said it's not to the benefit of humankind, right?
Is that what I said?
He don't even know what the he said. He don't even know what he said. Yo, I'm tweaking right now.
The dude said, yeah, he couldn't even believe it. The fact is, people only want white stories to be told because in white supremacy logic, white people are the only people that matter. Highlighting any other race or culture's achievements chips away at that white supremacy. So while they're in power, they're trying to whitewash history in any way they can. And this is just a perfect example of it.
Could you read back the witness's response about benefits to humankind?
These people are all psychos. They all look crazy as fuck.
Question.
They look like your man right here. American Psycho, baby.
Why would that be DEI? Answer. It's focusing on a singular race. It is not for the benefit of humankind.
Look at him trying to process everything. Check him out trying to process everything as they read it back to him. Like, cause he doesn't know what he's talking. Like, he doesn't even realize what he's saying. He's just trying. He's probably very nervous, obviously, and he's just trying to run off all these talking points as fast as possible so he could get out of there. Facts.
It is focused on a specific group or a specific race, here being black.
It's so crazy to think like this because everybody should be able to celebrate their culture. Every race should be able to celebrate their culture, their achievements, their progress, as long as that progress or achievements isn't on the back of another race or culture.
Exactly.
So black people should be able to tell their stories. Latinos should be able to tell their stories. Africans, Caribbeans should be able to tell their stories. And to be respected to those their stories, that's their progress. The one thing about America, which made it great for so many people to come here, is it was a melting pot of cultures and people. But now it's very clear to see how this administration and the people in power look at diversity and look at anybody of color as if our progress hurts them somehow.
Exactly. And that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever because we all know that for the most part, this is a white ran country as far as the power structure. The power structure of the United States consists of white males. Everybody knows that. Whether you're an immigrant or you're a black American, we all know that. So what are you guys so fearful of? You know, white erasure, that's, you know what I mean? Like we talk about black erasure, but their fear is white erasure, as if they're not already in a position of power where they're not going to lose. You're not going to lose anything. What you eat don't make me shit. Like, you're not going to lose anything by allowing other people opportunities, fair and equal opportunities, inclusion. Like, that does not hurt you.
So what do you mean by not for the benefit of humankind?
That's a very subjective. The way that I phrased it there wasn't exactly what I meant.
No, yes, it was. Yes, it was. That was exactly what you meant, but you had a slip of the tongue.
It's focused on a specific subset of race, and therefore it relates to DEI.
Okay.
I'm not suggesting that this is not.
By that definition, if white people told their own story, would that not be DEI? No, because that's not how they see it, I guess.
Exactly. If it's white, it's right. If it's white, it's right, according to their their mental approach to things. And that's the sad part, because this shit is an illness. This shit is really a mental illness that they have.
Of humankind, that was a misphrasing.
The level of stupidity is disgusting. This Doge Bro just testified that black history is not for the betterment of humankind. These were the idiots who thought they should be dismantling federal programs. Not only thought that they should be dismantling federal programs, but were allowed to. They were allowed to dismantle federal programs, which led to the firing of lifelong federal employees that literally built their career off civic work. We know for a fact Doge didn't save any money, and in fact, they stole millions of Americans' data. Hundreds of millions of Americans' data. And
that we still don't know what they did with. So you didn't save any money, and you stole people information. To do what with? To do what with? That's the $1 billion, $1 trillion question.
Then when Doge was disbanded, nobody was held accountable for anything that happened, and they just disappeared into other federal positions in the government without us knowing what happened to any of the money that they saved or the data that they stole. I'll repeat this until I'm blue in the face. Huge portions of right-wing ideology is just vibes, whether it's immigration or DEI. There's no evidentiary basis or intellectual tradition. The worldviews are based just on what's wafting through the air, vacuous but sadly real. I would agree, but I think it's more than that. They are connected by racist hatred and white supremacy. That's what all this is about. That's why anybody that voted for Donald Trump, especially those people that voted for Donald Trump 2 and 3 times, you cannot tell me that you're not supporting white supremacy when that's what Donald Trump has always been about. In this deposition, Doge employee Justin Fox said he used AI to tag DEI grants to cancel without ever instructing the AI on what DEI is. Among grants terminated was a $350,000 grant to replace an aging HVAC system at the High Point Museum in North Carolina. The AI flagged it because the grant stated improving HVAC systems enhances preservation conditions for collections, aligning with the goal of providing greater access to diverse audiences. I guess ChatGPT just saw the word diverse.
Facts. Jew, I was about to say, yo, this is so bird brain. This is like bird brain activities, yo. Just because the word diverse was in there.
And red flares started going off, and a museum lost a grant that it needed for HVAC systems. If you lost your job because of Doge, this will enrage you. They built a whole ass political crusade around DEI, then sent a staffer into a deposition who couldn't even define it. Two lessons here. First, these people are morons, getting tax dollars to do moronic things. Second, when you force a conservative to explain themselves in an environment where they can't lie or they don't have an echo chamber, the results are hilarious.
Right, because nothing is based on facts. It's all based off of racism and hate. That's just the truth of the matter. That's just the truth of the matter.
Yeah, because none of them can stand on anything except racism, sexism, and hatred. That's all they got. And because of their stupidity, the economy is crumbling and the world is at war. Major bombshell. Put him in prison now. A former Elon Musk Doge engineer admitted he took millions of American social security numbers on a thumb drive to his new job. Unfortunately, nothing is going to come from this, at least not while this administration is in power. Even if the investigation turns out that they're 100% guilty, they broke the law. All of these people are doing this illegal shit, just banking on presidential pardons to come from Trump. But I just hope when the Democrats get back into power, all of these people will be brought into courts, found guilty for their illegal ass actions, face the maximum penalty for all the illegal things that they did and allowed to happen. In 2000,
to be honest, that's a big ass, because that's one of the biggest knocks on the Democratic Party is that they're weak. They're weak. Whenever the tide changes and the Democrats get in power, they always try to be this so-called, standard for the way the government should be ran. And that's why they always get ran over, because they don't use their power in a way to hold people accountable, not to hurt people, but to hold people accountable for their actions prior to them coming back in power. You can't just turn the cheek and say, okay, well, we just want to focus on the American people. No, you need to focus on these mofos who was just in power and they was doing the unthinkable to people and hurting people. You got to hold them accountable. Grab your freaking kahunas and show people that, you know what I'm saying? You got some
2006, an analyst at the VA took a laptop home that had the personal data of 26 million veterans on it. It ended in the resignation of a deputy secretary and several others and new data privacy procedures. This kid took home all of our social security data, 300 million Americans. Where's the outrage? Where's the congressional hearings? Where are the resignations? We don't have a Congress right now, so that's why nothing is happening. But when we do get a Congress back, I swear to God, if Democrats act like pussies and don't prosecute these people, I will never vote for a Democrat again.
Right, and that's the thing. Like, see, what you were saying is spot on, bro, because people are tired of the bullshit. Like, people are tired, bro. You want our vote, but when you get our vote and you get in power, you get in a position to supposed to be doing something about things like this. You don't do shit. Y'all don't do anything. And then you look at us like, well, we just want to try to figure out how to make amends for what happened. No, the way you make amends for what happened is by holding people accountable for these type of actions. But the problem is that the Republicans do so much foul shit that it's very difficult to, like, you gotta continuously try to tally it up. Every day it's like 2, 3, 4, 5 different things that you can really put on the list. And it becomes so much, it becomes an extreme backlog of BS that you got to try to figure out, okay, well, we got to have a hearing on this. We need to call this one in for a testimony, call this one in for a deposition. It becomes a cluster of freaking, just a stockpile of so much stuff that should be addressed, that the Democrats just, they get lazy and or they say it's just too much for us to take on. If we focus on that, we won't be able to focus on trying to fix things and do things for the American people. This is ridiculous.
I just won't. Democrats need to put on their big boy pants and get mean about some of the shit that we're seeing.
Right.
People need to go to jail. The ex-Doge employee who walked off with the thumb drive of Social Security data and took it to a private company told the whistleblower he expected a presidential pardon if his actions were deemed illegal. That's that entitlement. That's the entitlement right there. That's what it is. Right? Man, listen, I know I'm gonna do whatever they say, because I know at the end of the day, as long as we got Big Bro in the White House, he gonna hand out them pardons like lollipops. All of them are banking on. They know they can do illegal and immoral things and just bank on a presidential pardon. I don't even know the terms of a presidential pardon. For president who pardons a whole bunch of people, is convicted of crimes while he's in office, while he holds power, does that wipe out the presidential pardon so those people can be prosecuted? Or can?
But what about when that president is not in power anymore? Why aren't they held accountable then? Is the statute of limitation? Like, that's a very good question, man.
They be prosecuted on the state level? I really need to look that up. But this is just ridiculous at this point. Doge lead in deposition details how he emailed documents to his personal device to then send with Signal. Not saying it was right, but do you remember Hillary Clinton catching all that smoke for taking files home or whatever she did with the private server at home? I can't even remember at this point. But Republicans were up in arms, literally would not let her live that down. Meanwhile, you have Doge employees stealing our data and taking it to private companies.
It's cool when you do it. It's a problem when I do it.
And you don't hear one Republican squeak about it. The hypocrisy is crazy, and that's why these people cannot be allowed to be in power again.
So earlier we talked about
we got another one
with Mr. Davis.
We got another one. Check them out, y'all. Check them out. It's right on brand. Check them out. American Psycho.
Including, well, in the context of you emailing yourself, I think you were saying, and then using that.
The smugness and entitlement of the demeanor. All these dudes look like, what is it, Patrick Bateman from American Psycho? That's who all of them look like to me.
Email on Signal to send to Mr. Davis. Do you remember talking about that with Mr. Robinson earlier?
I do.
Okay. Walk me through that process.
Pay attention to his body language. I checked this out earlier. I want you guys to pay attention to his body language and let me know what y'all think. If you made it this far in the video, I appreciate you, man. Please leave a comment. Let me know what y'all think about all of this. Because I don't got all the answers. You know what I'm saying? I'm just an old Army vet that's trying to figure this thing out. I have no choice but to react to these type of videos because, again, it's ingrained in who I am. You know what I mean? I've been to war, and this type of incompetency and this hypocrisy, it really makes me upset. You know what I mean? Because, again, me, somebody being from where I'm from, when it was time for me to figure out life, you know what I mean? I you know, the whole cliche is, oh, you got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Well, when it was time for me to figure life out, I literally put on combat boots. You understand? So I don't want to hear shit.
Exactly.
There was a weekly scorecard, as it was called, where we reported on savings across each agency. It was black text in an Excel spreadsheet file that was downloaded. Steve preferred that to be sent over Signal. Signal is not on a government device, so we downloaded it and sent it to Steve on Signal.
So you downloaded it. That's an unsecured device. That's unsecure form of communication. This is blatant incompetency. But again, they can do whatever they want. Why? Because of who they are and what they look like.
That was the extent of.
That's a very hard rule in the federal government, that you cannot take any federal information and put it on any type of public device. I don't even think you can plug in your phone to charge if it's connected to your laptop or computer in the federal government.
Mr. Davis was not on a government device.
I don't know if he was on a government device or not. I know he preferred to receive the scorecard on Signal.
Okay. Do you know whether Mr. Davis had a government email?
I believe he had an EOP email address that he did not use.
Okay. And you never communicated with him on that email address?
I'm sure I sent him an email or two, but it was incredibly infrequent.
At least this dude can complete a sentence, unlike the first guy, Justin Fox or whatever his name. He looks like a fucking psycho serial killer.
I understand sending Mr. Davis something off of email based on his request, but why did you email something to yourself first before sending it to Mr. Davis?
There was no other way to get the scorecard that we generated to Steve on Signal.
Okay. You couldn't go directly from your government email to Signal?
Correct.
Why not?
I don't think GSA allowed the downloading of Signal, among many other apps.
So GSA didn't allow the downloading of Signal?
So if GSA didn't allow the downloading of Signal, why would you download it and use it anyway?
Is that what you're saying?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. But you then sidestep that by sending documents to your personal phone so that you could then use Signal?
For the weekly scorecard, that was the process, yes.
That is so illegal. People are fired immediately for sending federal information to private devices. It's basically like you're stealing government data, government information, especially if it contains PII.
And that didn't set any alarms about whether or not you...
Look at his body language. Pay attention to his body language and the nervousness by which he's acting. Like he fucked up, man. He
should be using Signal to do government work. The fact that GSA didn't let you use Signal on your phone?
GSA didn't let you use a myriad of softwares that would have been common in a standard business, and so
it's not a standard business though. It's the federal government. These people got hired by Elon Musk to come into the federal government and act like it's a private sector job when it's not. That's the same problem with Trump, and that's why our economy is in the toilet now, because he's running the federal government like it's a Trump business.
And Trump businesses fail. Trump businesses fail. For everybody out there who don't know, right? But I'm pretty sure you do know, but you don't care. Trump was never a good businessman. Go look it up if you don't believe me. He was never a good businessman. But again,
which he ends up bankrupting anyway. People are all morons, man.
I don't know if Signal is representative of, I don't think Signal is a unique case, frankly. There were dozens of apps that weren't allowed on a government device.
Because they can be hacked, because data can be stolen from them. There are reasons that apps and websites aren't accessible from federal devices.
Do you think that there's a reason that the government disallows using certain services on their devices?
I'm not sure.
He said, I'm not sure. Look at his face. Them little chimp lips. They talk about monkeys. Look at the chimp lips. That's a chimp right there. That's a chimp right there. I'm not sure. You know damn well you was...
Okay. You don't think it was because maybe they were concerned about data leaks or sharing information with people that shouldn't be receiving that information?
Objection. I really don't.
What are you objecting to? Because you know if he answers that question, he's going to be...
I don't know.
Okay. You have no idea why
you do know. He knows.
They would not allow Signal on government phones.
Objection. Yeah, I'm not sure. I know many government officials use Signal, so I'm not totally sure.
Okay. Do you think maybe it was for the maintenance of records that they don't allow Signal, an auto-delete app on government phones?
Objection. Yeah, again, I don't know.
You really don't know? Objection.
Listen, guys, never mind what's coming out of his mouth. All of this objection, I don't know, bullshit. Pay attention to his eyes and his body language. That will tell you the truth. That will tell you the truth every time. He's lying.
I really don't know.
All of these Doge Bros and half the people in the administration.
Dumb Doge Bros.
are actually DEI hires. There are the people that are unqualified for their jobs that got them just based on vibes, just based on them being white or them being known by somebody or connected to somebody.
Facts. Facts. And that's the bottom line to this. That's the bottom line to this.
These are the fucking DEI hires, not the black overqualified people, not all the people that lost their jobs because of idiots like this that went in and attacked any agency that was highly populated with people of color. Insane that these unqualified, unvetted kids were deciding on billions of dollars of federal government grants based on their ignorance as well as prejudice. Musk has so much to answer for should Dems ever gain power again. Dems better gain power again. They have to, or else we're just fucked as a country and society, and we all should just get our passports ready to go somewhere else. One of Musk's Doge Bros explains how he
I gotta be honest, man.
Flagged DEI grants for termination. I wonder if he actually knows what DEI means.
You don't regret that people might have lost important income to support their lives?
You see how fast he answered that question? You don't regret that people might have lost it. Before the question was even finished, he said no. That tells you everything you need to know. What he really want to say, what he's thinking right now is, bro, I don't give a. I went in there to hurt people. Like, I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I just don't want these people to have nothing. I don't want these people to have employment. I don't want these people to be able to feed their families, take care of their families. They don't look like me. Are you crazy?
No. I think it was more important to reduce the federal deficit from $2 trillion to close to zero.
They didn't reduce the federal deficit at all. Doge didn't do anything other than steal our data, and whatever money they did save, we have no clue what happened to it.
You know exactly what happened to it. They pocketed it. They siphoned it off, whatever. But again, they didn't save any money, so you went in there and did nothing. You went in there and accomplished nothing. This is preposterous, bro. This country, to allow people like this to get away with stuff like this is such a slap in the face to the American people as a whole. It's just blatantly showing the people like, we don't give a fuck about you.
Is the federal deficit?
No, we didn't.
What's wrong with this nigga? That's your man. That's your man.
They did all of that and they reduced the deficit at all. They did all of that and didn't reduce the deficit at all. They can't define DEI. They didn't reduce the deficit, which was the objective. This is fucking embarrassing.
This is a history of the HIV/AIDS prison movement and its legacies in the United States. My book project narrates how activists...
Look at his face. Look at his face. The smugness, the arrogance. Look at his face.
...fought the convergence of HIV/AIDS and incarceration from inside and outside prisons across the Reagan through Clinton years, and argues that this organizing holds legacies in the prison abolition movement of the 1990s to today. This is one of the grants that you or Mr. Fox identified as craziest at NEH, is that right?
That's right.
Why did you identify this as one of the craziest grants?
Because it references feminist and queer insights into prison abolition and LGBTQ studies.
Any other reasons?
No.
Examining military service from the margins, the complicated service discussion series will bring together veterans and community members to examine the experiences of service members who identify themselves as female, Black, Native American, LGBTQ, or an immigrant, the dynamics, reasoning, and strength behind serving a country that does not always serve you in return. Did I read that correctly?
Yes.
You and Mr. Fox identified this as one of the craziest grants at NEH?
Yes, it appears so.
Why did you do that?
Because it explicitly says LGBTQ.
Their job was to go in there and hurt people. Their job was to go in there and hurt people. Bottom line, that's it. I don't give a what nobody say.
Any history in, like, let's say, scholarly peer review?
No.
Okay. So, but this judgment call was made by you and your personal judgment combined with Justin's personal judgment to cancel grants based on DEI.
Yes.
Okay. Do you think it's inappropriate in any way that someone in their 20s with no experience with grants or federal government was making personal judgment calls about what grants to cancel?
No, I don't think it's inappropriate.
You don't think it's inappropriate for somebody in their 20s with no experience? This is what the whole thing about DEI, right? Oh, we have to, get rid of DEI because most of the DEI hires are not experienced. They're not qualified for these positions. They're just in these positions because of they're gay, they're black, they're a woman. But you'll hire somebody that has no experience in this field to do this job. What? Yo, I am freaking out right now. This makes no sense.
The fucking entitlement. This is only the entitlement that a spoiled white privileged person can have. Nobody else can have this entitlement where they're unqualified and put in positions of power that can literally affect other people's lives and did. For people of color to get in positions of power, they have to be overqualified. They have to have connections and a history of doing the work. And even then, they'll still get passed up by somebody like this dude who's just young, white, and connected.
Why not?
Objection. I think a person can have enough judgment from reading books and being well informed outside of traditional experience.
Bruh.
To make judgment calls about obvious things like a grant that literally lists DEI in its description to know whether it violates an executive order.
I'm sorry. I'm saying books because you said books.
The lawyer, whoever's asking the question, is so taken aback. He's like, hold on, I'm sorry.
What books would you have read that would have informed your...
Nigga said books. Yo, I could just read a few books and go in here and do this shit. Like, I don't need no experience. Like, what?
On what grants to cancel based on DEI?
There were no books.
He said a person... Oh, my gosh, bro. This dude literally said a person can read books and go in here and perform this task based off of some books that they read and, pretty much get the job done. The follow-up question was, did you read any books? What books have you read? Said, oh, I haven't read any books.
There were no books. He said all that shit and didn't read one book on anything pertaining to what he was tasked with doing. Oh, you can't make this up. My God. This 13-year-old was given the power to destroy lives and dreams on his own whim by Donald Trump and Elon Musk. As we all knew, they hired racist, transphobic, homophobic, and xenophobic white men to strip people of grants and their livelihood. Understand, all you people in the Trump administration, you're gonna be in that chair and others in depositions and courtrooms for years. They better be. People are in prison for life right now for way less. Elon's big ball gang is falling apart. I say it all the time, just about any video I talk about this administration, what's going on in politics right now. America has to have its own version of the Nuremberg trials, where all of these people are brought to justice and face the harshest sentences possible.
Facts, because they've done so much damage and hurt so many people. This cannot be swept under the rug. It just can't.
How old is this Musk punk? We let these people ruin our civil workforce, ruin critical life-saving programs, fire people, ruin careers, and they were all idiots with flash drives. I don't know who the we is that she's talking about. I know who I voted for, and it damn sure wasn't Trump. I guarantee you, stuff like this is just the tip of the iceberg. Not only Doge when it was in effect, but this whole entire administration has done so much illegal or immoral stuff that has hurt people, destroyed lives, and literally allowed people to die, that when it all gets exposed eventually, once this administration is out of power, I think even people that are aware of some of the stuff they did will be shocked. I just want all these smug, pretentious, entitled people to be held accountable for all the bad things that they did and allowed to happen. But shout out to my channel members. Thank you so much for supporting, and thanks.
Shout out to Jew, man.
What's wrong with this nigga? That's your man. That's your man.
And there you have it, folk. The dumb Doge Bros. Super stupid. Super stupid. There's no other way to put it, man. But maybe somebody can explain it to me. Somebody explain it to me. Help me, help you, help me. What is you talking about? Help me out. Help a brother out, man. I don't know nothing. You know what I'm saying? I don't know nothing.
I came from the bottom, I grew up with roaches and mice. And they threw a party as soon as we turned out the lights. I ain't have a job, but my man had an awesome white.